Aren't you aware that you should stare down your viewers in silence?
What?
You can't just go out announcing we've got a green light there, we've got a green light there.
But I announced that before we were even online.
I mean, I know, but maybe you were planning on doing it too. After we came online.
I don't know if we're online yet.
We are online. There's a spotted cow
online.
right there.
Oh, hello, spotted cow. Oh, I've suddenly gone all croaky.
Probably.
Wow!
Emergency power only.
Wow, that's loud.
Oxygen production
Oh my.
offline.
I'd say I'm sorry, but I found it funny. Also, you became all croaky because you rolled a 1, and you'll now be a spotted toad for the next 3 turns. It's the blue one.
That one?
Yes.
Hello, Alfie.
Who thinks my base is out of power? Hold on. I somehow found myself standing on top of my chair. There we go. That's better. Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
right, yes, that's all the YouTube things done. Let's just make sure. Yep, Twitch is working too.
Lovely.
Very good.
I'm dying of thirst, apparently.
And hello, Tammy.
Hello, Tammy, and Alfie, and the spotted cow. And I forgot what I was doing. Clearly, I remember I need something to drink. Yes, this might take a few minutes.
How's the audio, everybody? Have we got the volumes set up right and things?
Is it just me, or did they turn the depth of field option back on?
Maybe.
Huh. I wish I'd have some more melons. Hold on, let me just quickly check. No, not give feedback. I don't do that. Graphics.
Oh,
yeah,
hello,
look,
Potato.
they're all
Say hello to Potato.
Hello, Potato. Look, they've all turned themselves on again.
Oh.
Go away, Shoo. Apparently, we don't like that.
No, we don't like that.
Lovely.
Oh, there's a squid outside your window.
Yeah, they happen to be there sometimes on the floor of the ocean. It's a lot brighter down here than last I remember.
Probably because we've just turned things off or on or something. Hello, Solo Spirit. Say hello to Solo Spirit.
Hello, Solo Spirit. Hold on. Oh, Solo Spirit.
You need to drink again, Mia.
Yes, I'm aware. I'll just use some more coffee.
Seek fluid intake immediately.
Yes, I'm aware. Remind me, what were we doing last time? I forgot.
You were getting your base up and running.
I mean, look, it's already there. I'd go there and show you again, but I'm drinking coffee. Thank you.
You need to make some proper thirst quenching stuff, Mia. The coffee's not really doing it for you.
But you should know that I need my coffee in the morning.
Well, you know, as a coffee drinker, I believe that you can survive on coffee alone. However...
Vital signs stabilizing.
Well, look, I've got stable vital signs now. I can go and do the thing that gives me more proper water.
Good.
What was the thing that I need to do for proper water? I've got this.
Bleach and water or something? Ralph. Hello, Ralph.
Hello, Ralph.
Who is too busy sweating his balls off in Rainbow Six Siege.
You know, at this point, I'd like to point out that I've now found myself preferring Potato, who would have censored that for me.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And Ralph says, "Oh,
Who
hello,
is
everybody."
being a sweaty tryhard? That's how you can put it delicately.
Who's being a sweaty tryhard
Thank
in
you.
Rainbow Six Siege. Alfie points out that coffee is a diuretic, so you can't drink too much of it.
Watch me. I'll drink every bit of coffee that I have.
Coffee makes you piss yourself.
Thanks, Sal. You just ruined it. Now, look. I'm all hydrated again.
Very good. So had you completed your base and done everything that you needed to do?
I'm pretty sure I wanted to have a ton of glass, which I don't have.
Bulls is a swear now. Not as far as I'm aware.
It is now. And I dictate what is.
I say bulls a lot at work.
You can make it sound less offensive.
Well, in fact,
by putting a very innocent word in front of it.
Something like tennis balls.
Pizza balls.
Pizza balls. Well, usually I say balls when I've made a small mistake. If it's, or, you know, the computer's not doing what I want it to do or something like that, I'll just sort of mutter balls. But if it's a little bit bigger, then I'd say bollocks. And Potatoes, any reference to genitalia is a swear? No, it's
yes,
not.
It is.
It's just Mia's sensitive, so I'm censoring for Mia's sensitive ears, not for chat can reference genitalia as much as you like.
No, they cannot. Please stop.
But you might find me translating it for Mia's sensitive ears. Potato says, I messed with my sleep cycle, so I'm basically clockwork oranging myself to watch this stream. Oh dear.
He's clockwork watching now?
Clockwork oranging.
What's a clockwork
Solo
orange?
Spirit. It's a film with certain... there's bits of violence in it. But there's a bit of not sleeping. And Solo Spirit suggests snowballs.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
That's a nice
that's
term.
nice.
Don't read out what Ralph just wrote.
Okay.
I can tell from over here that it's not appropriate.
So even though it's in capital letters and it says testicles. And Ralph says, as long as it's consented potato, I'm okay with it. That's the clockwork oranging. Potato says, and I'm going to shut down my brain when the stream is over. Yeah, and Ralph says, and the guy is forced to watch something in a weird chair, which holds his eyes open.
So have a hatch there.
And Solo Spirit says, you sense a clockwork orange and nothing is left. Oh, and look. We've got little emoji.
Yeah, I think that's because it's a YouTube one.
Oh,
it can't deal
okay.
with the Twitch
Can't
ones.
do... Right. I don't remember seeing any emojis on Restream chat.
That's because you're not looking hard enough.
True. And Spotted Cow says, oh my holy farmer. I love your exclamations. I really hate Norwegian winters. On side roads there are 3 to 5 centimetres of ice and they use gravel on the roads. And the gravel has melted down in the ice, so it's not helpful. I've been off the road 4 times in the same hill to where I live today. Ooh. We're in the UK. We're a bit notorious for being bad at ice and snow because we don't get it very often. We get it every year. We're all right with ice actually. It's snow we're not good at dealing with. Like an inch of snow and the country kind of grinds to a halt, at least for a day or two. And James Solomon says hi, and Giles
Hello.
Price says hi.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the stream. And Ralph says the British hate all weather. Absolutely. It's either too rainy, too cold, too snowy, too hot, too foggy.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
Or it can be too windy, too haily, too grey, too meh. Oh, did you not want that one?
I've decided I want to have it in the base, not here, and I can't be bothered finding out what I need to rebuild it.
And James Solomon said, Mia's not drunk on Jägermeister. How disappointing.
Why would I want to be drunk on Jägermeister?
We've just finished decorating our Christmas tree.
What am I doing?
Poking yourself in the face with a welder, I think. Yep, and again.
Okay, can I stop now, please?
Britain all round is a bit meh. And Solo Spirit says, I'm from the UK but live in southern now. Folks down here have no clue how to do winter weather. Oh, you're in the south of the UK but you're from the north of the UK, is that right? Oh, southern US? Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I've spent time in Louisiana in winter, and it is amazing. I mean, like, they have freeze warnings, which I found hysterical. The fact that, like, there might be ice, so nobody goes out and drives because they just don't know how to drive on ice and stuff. Tammy says, true, we don't do cold weather too well. It actually showed me how resilient the British are, or the British systems are to cold weather when I saw sort of what it's like in Louisiana. And Ralph says, Arizona, I just want to live there to call dust storms boobs. I never heard dust storms called boobs. But I admit that is good and funny.
Where did I leave my ruby?
And Spotted Cow says, give me 100 centimetres of snow anyway. That's no problem, but ice. And my hooves don't grip on ice. And Solo Spirit says, Tennessee here. And yep, everything shuts down if it threatens ice. Lol. Yeah, because they don't have, well, at least, I don't know about Tennessee, but in Louisiana they don't have, like, gritters or salters or anything. So they actually, I think they were using the prisoners from the local jail to spread sand on the bridges, because the bridges were the first things twice over.
That's a horrible idea. That just teaches them to dig escape tunnels.
Well, it was like going out and doing sort of public works was something that you did if you were on good behaviour, because you know it's like, okay, it was work, but it was out and about work. Plus, they panicked by basics.
I need some titanium.
And Tammy says, most of the freeze warnings are to keep the taps dripping so the pipes don't freeze and the plumbing won't burst. Ah. Ralph says, I'd assume they pour sand on the warden too. Which state are you in, Tammy? I'm just trying to think. I've been to Tennessee. I'm trying to remember where I went in Tennessee. I remember seeing a statue of Dolly Parton. And what else did I see in Tennessee? I'm sure I went round because I went on a road trip that went through Tennessee.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
Potato says, I think my New Year's resolution will be 1280 by 720, lol. Just kidding. I just plan to take up sewing next year to try and make plushies.
What would you want to do with plushies?
I once made a plushie. I made a plushie hedgehog when I was about 14. It's the only thing I have ever successfully made by sewing. I can do knitting and I can do crochet. I can even do that macrame thing where you tie like knots in string and make things to hang on your walls. My grandmother taught me that one. But sewing, I'm not very good at sewing. I can't like my stitches never stay, and they're never very tidy, and if I sew a button on, it falls off. To the extent that if a button falls off a shirt or something like that, I will usually throw it in the bin. If a button falls off a suit, I'll take it to the tailor and get the tailor to sew it back on. Pigeon Forge, that sounds familiar. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, because I remember something about pigeons and thinking it was an odd name. And Spotted Cow says, next year there will be studded tyres on the car. This year I have studless winter tyres. Ooh. I've never tried driving with studs on the tyres, but I seem to remember... Ooh. I've got these headphones too loud. That's a scary noise. I remember putting chains on tyres at some point. Oh, walking with chains on my shoes. Yeah, chains on shoes are fantastic. There was once, it got so snowy in Manchester that loads of people couldn't make it into work and the roads were impassable, you know, because like we'd had sort of maybe 5 centimetres of snow.
And you showed them all by just walking with some chains on.
I put my walking boots on and put chains on my walking boots that I used for walking in the ice, and it was brilliant. I could get into work and everything. And Tammy's in Texas. And Solo Spirit said, yep, Tammy, had to deal with my first burst pipe over here. And Solo Spirit suggesting Nashville. Nashville, is it Nashville where all the Elvis Presley stuff is? There was one place I went to on the road trip which was all sort of very Elvis focused, and I didn't really like it. Nothing about the Elvis stuff, but I kind of didn't like the town, but I'm not sure if it was Nashville. Ralph says, so has everyone broken up from school? Well, the ones that are young enough to be in school, that is. And Tammy says, Pigeon Forge is where Dollywood is. That sounds familiar. I don't think... I mean, we didn't go to Dollyville, but I think we went very near it. And Spotted Cow says it's the same on cars, Sal. Giles Price says snowshoes or tennis rackets on your feet. Oh, it's normal. My normal walking boots, but with it wasn't really chains. It's more like a very tough steel spring, but a very narrow spring that's got rubber around the edges that you sort of snap around the sole of your shoe, so that you're actually walking on these springs, and the springs are lying parallel to the floor so that they cut into the ice like teeth. Oh, Elvis is Memphis. Yeah, it's Memphis that I didn't really like. Can't remember whether or not I went to Nashville. I think I might have. I think it might have been Nashville where we saw interesting weather patterns off in the distance, and then a tornado struck a bit later on. Or as we were driving between Nashville and somewhere. And Spotted Cow says, but with the studded tyres, they're on permanently, you can't take them out. And Solo Spirit says it's right on the Mississippi. And Tammy said Nashville is where a lot of country music's recorded. And Ralph says, by the way, Sal, have you heard about this legal high in Manchester? Spice or something? Spice isn't legal. It's a form... Right, let me see if I get this right. I believe it's a form of... what's the word? Not artificial. For want of the proper word, it's like artificial cannabis, but it's doesn't have the same effect. It kind of makes people freeze. Freeze, and then by freeze I mean go into a sort of statue, and then if that happens to them while they're stood up, they just literally fall over.
What? Sorry, I was
very big in the
basically not
homeless
listening for the
community.
past few minutes.
Just
Are we
explain.
talking about some weird sort of drug?
Yes.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because Ralph asked if I'd heard about it.
Right, have you heard about it?
Yeah.
How upsetting. Carry on.
Oh, what happened to you there? It
I
took half
bumped
your
my
life.
knee into my ship.
Oh. You got a med pack on you?
No, but the life pod will have one.
Ralph says, all I know is it makes you throw up and claps. Wasn't it legal before? It might have been. It could be that it was legal before it was and then banned. Or it was identified as a banned substance, but until it was identified as such, I don't know. And Tammy says, sounds like a form of suspended animation. More sort of comatose, but with locked muscles. Potato says, Sal, have you had a chance to see the drafts yet? I had a quick look at them, but didn't get long. And also, when will our next recording session be? Not sure.
Never.
Yet. Yeah, well, no, it certainly will be. Mia's just collected 343 grams of salt.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't know what I'd do without it.
It's not like you've got enough. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. That road trip that we went on, we actually drove the length of the Mississippi. We kind of wandered backwards and forwards, crossing it a lot. Where did we go? Because we did 2 road trips where we followed the Mississippi for a good bit. I think that one where we went through Tennessee. We've gone from Louisiana through Alabama into Tennessee, then up into Virginia, then down through the Carolinas into Florida, and then across into Mississippi, and then into Louisiana, I think that one was. Mia preparing for winter too with all that salt, indeed. And Alfie says, I think you mean a cataleptic state. It wasn't that it was legal before, it was unclassified for human use. What have you just done, Mia? Have you banged your knee again?
Yes, I'm very good at that.
You didn't used to bang your knee when you were getting in and out.
It's because I don't bring the vehicle to a full stop.
You want to be careful on that. You've not got much life left. And Solo Spirit says, quite the grand southern circle. Yeah, that was that road trip. The other road trip that we did that involved the southern states. We went from, again, started in Louisiana, went up through Arkansas, of which my embarrassing but funny story was like Arkansas. I knew was the state that, like, you know, I knew it because it was a thing. It was the place where the Clintons come from, but I had never ever seen it written. I don't ever remember reading Arkansas. I knew Arkansas was a place. So when I saw Arkansas written down, I didn't realise that Arkansas was the same place as Arkansas. And I called it Arkansas a number of times to a number of Americans, and they thought it was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, we went north through Arkansas, then up through whatever the state was above Arkansas. We went up to Missouri. Trying to remember the name of the place we were heading for in Missouri. Came back down through... I remember we did Kentucky. Should we keep giving him salt so he has a bigger pile for emergencies in the wintertime? Says Giles. Yeah. Potato says, rub a plate of fries on Mia's head to nicely season them. Oh, St. Louis. Yeah, we went to St. Louis. Yeah, saw the great big arch in St. Louis. And Solo Spirit says, I knew it from the wacky races. Yeah, so it's Missouri immediately north of Arkansas. So it must have been Arkansas, then Missouri.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
There's like some big lake system in Missouri where we stayed for a while. There's we're going to a wedding of some friends that was happening in Missouri, but I can't remember the name of the lake system. It's like big tourist spot, lots of lots of sort of condos around a lake. I can't remember the name of the lakes. Yeah, came back down, went to the confluence of the Ohio and the Mississippi, and it was in flood at the time, so the confluence of the two rivers was about 1/4 of a mile further back than where it normally was. And Ralph says, what kind of road trip is this? The entirety of America?
Aren't all road trips usually centered around going across a large stretch of America?
Well, it's such a big place, and it's actually a lot shorter north to south than it is east to west.
Fair point.
So yeah, the second road trip did a sort of big southern circle. It did like the sort of southeastern corner of the states. And this one, we went from the sort of southern middle bit. We just went due north and then went a little bit east and then came south again. And Giles Price says, I'll add this place to the road trip, Walla Walla, Washington. Solo Spirit says Chicago would be... Is that easy or east of there? Tammy Patton says the Great Lakes are further north. Yeah, this was... They'll come to me. It's like the biggest lake system in Missouri. Ralph says the furthest place I've been is Greece or something. I've never been to Greece and I want to go. I'd love to go, but more on a sort of cultural type thing. I love all the archaeology in Greece. Not so much to see the sort of ruined temples and stuff, but I'd love to go off the beaten track a bit. And Giles Price says, and Aurora. Is that a place, or do you mean the Aurora like the Northern Lights? And Ralph says, whereas my dad's been to Korea and New Zealand. I've never been to the Southern Hemisphere. Furthest south I've ever been is Venezuela. Oh no, I think Colombia. I went further south in Colombia than I went in Venezuela. But you know, it's sort of still the Northern Hemisphere. East, yeah. Oh, there. You're being leeched. Giles says he's done most of Europe. And Tammy says, I'm not too familiar with Missouri. Taser says, Sal, what's something silly you've seen a sleepy Mia do?
Die. I'm never sleepy. I'm a robot.
No, I
just
see
shut
you.
down.
I see you sleepy,
No,
but I can't
you
think of
don't.
anything silly you've done.
I am never sleepy.
I mean, you're generally funny when you've just woken up, especially if it's like meh. I need you to come fix my computer, set this thing up, and you're
Or
like,
Minty
"Ugh."
and Boris are too incapable to start up the secret
Yeah,
server.
wake up! We need you to set up a server. We'll switch the server on.
But
And
that's
you
not
come,
silly.
like-
That's mostly just grumbly.
Yeah, you come like grumbling out of your closet, and your hair's sticking out in all kinds of directions. But I've never laughed at you, have I?
You're too kind.
Usually because I want something, I want something doing, and I'm not gonna like sort of say, "Ha, look at your hair, here's a comb." Mind you, I think possibly the reason why I've never seen you do something silly while you've been sleepy is because it's not that often that I see you sleepy, because you're usually up before me. When I'm up before you, I'm not usually loitering because I'm only ever up before you when I'm going to work normally, unless you're doing something weird with your sleep schedule. Wow, you've got really loud footsteps, Smith.
No, it's just a very enclosed space, and it's all
Echoey.
echoing.
Ah. Need to put some carpet down.
I do not have the ability to make carpet.
Oh.
I could make a nice bed.
Okay then, Sal, what's the best and worst thing Mia has fed you? Oh, he does, Mia cooks some really nice German dishes.
Fiber mesh.
Huh?
Fiber mesh.
Fiber mesh.
I don't have any
What was
fiber
the-
mesh on me.
What's the thing? The Fleischkuchen was really nice.
That's Fleischkuchen.
Fleischkuchen.
Congratulations, you did it.
Which I can only describe it as being somewhat. Well, no, it's not that it's similar to
Warning,
meatloaf.
endorphin levels low. Consider taking a seat and meditating. It may help to remember that problems exist only where you choose to see them.
What's your endorphin level, Mia? Do you
I'm
have an
not
endorphin?
sure. I don't think I have a meter for that, but hold on. I have to comply with the robot.
Are you hoping to get visitors?
No.
Well, why have you got two chairs?
Maybe I want to see the other side of the window.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Like, look. That's how it looks like from here.
Yeah, actually, I like that view a bit better.
How do you like that view better? That's just wall, look.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this view has corridor in it.
I
Anyway,
guess
I'm hoping to put a table in the middle here.
that view has more signals showing. Worst thing Mia's fed me? I can't think of anything that Mia's cooked that I've not liked. Has there been anything you've cooked I've not liked?
I don't know. Usually German cuisine is so good that you like everything.
Yeah. Because German cuisine tends to be based on things I like anyway, so... The only thing I tend to do is tell Mia off for giving his own food a negative review before I've even had a chance to taste it. And Spotted Cow says, "So Mia, what's something silly you've seen a sleepy Sal do?" Oh no, that must be easier.
I don't know.
You could use some coffee.
Die? No, hold
You'd
on,
never
that's-
see me die.
You looked pretty dead.
I look pretty dead most mornings, that's true.
Sleepy things that Sal does.
I have a tendency to walk around in a confused daze.
I
Like
don't
something
think
off RimWorld.
I don't think that's the funny thing they're looking for.
But yeah, I have the kind of sleepy mornings where I'll put my phone in the fridge and then try and get the news on the milk.
I have never seen you put your phone in the fridge.
No, I can't think of a specific example, but I'll get 2 actions and 2 items and swap them over in my mind. Tammy says Mia can use the second chair to prop his feet up. Very true. Although
That is not something I do.
I'm
but
gonna say
I
I've never
appreciate
seen
the
Mia
suggestion.
put his feet up on something. That's the kind of thing I do.
Right. I'm realizing a vital flaw in the thing I'm trying to accomplish here.
What?
I want to put in 2 water filtration systems.
Oh.
Then again, hold on. Can I put them in like this? I can.
You can.
Nice. Now, excuse me while I'll quickly run down and get myself some aerogel.
Oh,
Welcome aboard, Captain.
where do you get aerogel from?
I found out that
Welcome
you can
aboard,
make it
Captain.
with gel
All
sacks
systems
and
online.
rubies. Oh, I have 2 coffees on me.
Gel sacks and boobies.
Rubies.
Rubies.
There's a gel sack. I used to have a ruby, and if you combine these 2, you can make the thing. Copper wire. Where did I leave my copper wire? There's one.
You should get a health kit while you're somewhere near a health kit maker.
Eventually.
Ralph would like to know if you maybe left your gel sacks within your posterior.
I would like to believe that I did not.
What's that funny woo 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 sound? Woo woo woo.
The water filtration machine.
Wow.
Now, excuse me, I quickly need to deconstruct that and find myself a ruby.
Make sure your inventory's empty if you're going out.
I just need 1 ruby. I'll manage.
But you're gonna find more things and not be able to pick them up because your inventory's
Welcome
full.
aboard, Captain. All systems online.
I like it much more now that we can see better.
Welcome to Regretland. Next stop, Big Spider Squid. Remind me to pick up glass.
Intake recommended.
Remind you to what?
Pick up glass at some point. Come on, they ought to have a ruby around here somewhere.
Solo Spirit says preparation H is in gel form. Mia, pick up glass. There.
That wasn't a
That's
very
Ralph.
good reminder.
So, Mia, I know this is probably a daft question, but what are we looking for? Are we looking
Small
for
red
a
stone.
red lump? Yeah.
Yeah, small red stone that doesn't look like a bubble.
Potato says, so, Sal, Skyrim tomorrow? Yeah. Well, that's the plan. I could probably do with testing it first. My computer's been a bit crashy since the last Windows update. I was recording some RimWorld,
Yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Are all the people who want to have that happen here? Aha! Did you remind me to pick up some glass?
Yeah, pick up some glass, mate.
Thank you. Very kind of you. No, thank you. I said no, thank you, my friend. Goodbye. Hold on, I need to stop. There's some glass here.
Yeah, I was recording some RimWorld over the... Was it the weekend?
I do believe it was some
time of
time
night.
ever since you stopped working because you had a back thing. Time kind of just stopped making sense for you.
And I
Also remind me
recorded...
to eat some potatoes as soon as I come back.
I think the first 10 recording sessions that I did, I only had one crash. And then the Windows update happened. And I had 2 or 3 crashes in the same day. And RimWorld doesn't usually cause my computer a problem unless I've been playing like all day and it's got really hot and tired and it just sort of decides it wants a rest. And Solo Spirit said the last Windows update messed my PC up too. Only just got it back working right. Yeah, it messed up my audio as well. In fact, Potato, you should have a look at that if you haven't got to the root of the problems with your audio. It messed around with the settings of my... all the audio settings on my microphone and Skype and Discord and everything. So all the settings were altered.
And that is why I don't automatically update my Windows. You have to be a discerning person.
Yeah, if I picked and chose... That's bad grammar, isn't it? But never mind. I would end up never doing it.
Don't worry, the system is still nagging you about them. You just don't automatically install them immediately, and the computer then decides in the middle of your game that it wants to restart.
Yeah, that can be a problem. Yeah, Solo Spirit says Microsoft doesn't give you much choice now.
Oh, you can't turn the... What the hell is
Emergency.
that?
Starvation imminent. Seek calorie intake immediately.
Oh no, that's a thing. Sal, remember where this is.
It's 350 meters down.
350 meters down, and...
Why don't you make a... Can you do waypoints?
I could make a beacon if I have the material for a beacon on hand.
Is that an emerald immediately below you?
What? No, that is a uranite.
Uranite.
Uranite crystal.
Yeah.
Also remind me to cycle through all my batteries soon.
Okay. Taser says, oh yeah, the update was awful, and yes, the problem is fixed. Ralph says, guys, how could I tell if I dislocated my jaw? It keeps popping and I can't open it fully.
By going to your GP or dentist.
I dislocate my jaw every so now and then, and when I dislocate my jaw, it locks open rather than not being able to open it fully. If it's popping and you can't open it fully, that sounds more like a muscular thing rather than a joint thing. Like maybe you've got an inflamed muscle, so you can't extend properly. Solo Spirit said I had to go into a very obscure setting to turn my updates off, at least until they fix their last.
Obscure setting? Are you referring to the registry editor?
And are you on Windows 10?
Oh heavens, I hope you're not.
Mine's on Windows 8 and Mia's on... You on Windows 7?
7! Good old classic 7. I find it to be almost as reliable as XP now.
And Ralph says, maybe. I do yawn and eat big sandwiches a lot. And Solo Spirit says, nope, I switched off the update server. Yeah, on
the
Windows
update
10.
server? That would be impressive. I imagine you mean the update service.
There's a thing,
Yeah,
thing.
I know, but I need that glass.
You're starving me, you're gonna die.
I told you to remind me to eat potatoes. You haven't done so yet. Yes, I did.
Probably couldn't hear because, like, everything's very loud.
Sure it is.
Eat potatoes, me.
Fine, I shall be returning to eat some potatoes now. Hold on. 4.
Yeah, Spotted Cow says Windows 7 on the gaming rig, Windows 8 on the laptop. And Solo Spirit said update service. Yes, me. It was an autocorrect. I had a brilliant autocorrect from my boss. My boss couldn't log into. Like, we used an app on the iPads, the work iPads, for managing the distribution of confidential papers to the board that they used during the board meeting. My boss was down in the board meeting and she couldn't access her papers, and so she'd sent an urgent email to the IT department saying, like, I think she said, please sort it, and it had auto-corrected to please seduce it.
I've got a problem. Seduce it.
Yeah. And then she sort of emailed me, like, within a couple of minutes later, saying, I've still got a problem. And I looked at it. It was something I was able to fix.
Seek calorie intake.
Oh,
Mere potatoes.
fine. Where did I...
Seek fluid intake immediately.
Come on.
And where was I up to a chat? Potato says, well, I hope to see some Skyrim and not a message from Mia saying I need to go host or to fill in the stream under short notice. Oh no, I'll be around.
Systems online.
Oh no, my inventory is full. How dare it?
You've got 1 health left, Mia.
I do not.
You've got 0 health left, Mia.
See, I'm
Vital
fine.
signs stabilizing.
Perfectly fine.
Get some health though before you go back out. Yep, where's Potato? Where were we? Yeah, so we're saying about, I'll definitely be around, I'll definitely be streaming. And intention, or plan A, is to do Skyrim. But I'm hoping to give it a quick test first to just make sure it's stable. If it's not, then I'll stream something else. But I'm hoping we'll be okay. Potato says...
We should be okay. I've cleaned the entire thing up again last week.
Yeah, I'm more sort of, because, like, my computer's been so fragile. These, like, even since then. Potato says, I'm running Windows 10 so I can use PS4 Remote Play. Ralph says, Solo, is your profile picture of some guy using the handgun sign in a James Bond intro? And there's people like the seduce the problem. Classic autocorrect blooper. And Tammy said, would that count as sexual harassment in the workplace? I must admit, because it was a problem I was able to solve, and I'd sent her a text message saying, problem seduced, try logging in now. And Tammy says, 1 health left. It's just a flesh wound. Ralph says, what's the New Year's stream going to be? Well, it's going to be over many hours, we expect. And we'll be doing, because there's a lot of us up for it. We'll all be giving it a go. Potato's going to be doing a slot as well. So we'll be doing lots of games over lots of hours. It will be at least 28 hours, and it's probably going to run to several more than that. And we might do some streaming or something between Christmas and New Year. It's sort of...
There's still the regularly scheduled streams, which I imagine will persist throughout the holidays.
And Ralph says, Mir is the Black Knight.
Oh no.
And Solo Spirit says it's the Han Solo in the Bond gun logo. Wait, no, Solo. Is that Han Solo? Gun barrel champagne? What? Oh, no
I've
battery.
just drained the entire power reserves of the submarine to make glass.
Oh. Okay. How far from home are you?
I'm literally parked on top of the house.
Oh. Face cam of Mir downing an entire bottle of Prosecco.
Of what now?
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Fizzy
All
wine.
systems online.
It's very nice, it's sweet.
No, thank you.
Only nice chilled. Well done, says Ralph.
Something tells me I desperately need to put some biomatter into the bioreactor down here. Now, water filtration machine. Look at this beauty. Now, interior module, bar table.
Mir will be in the UK for Christmas. Ralph says Prosecco is what the chaps from the south of England drink, Mir.
Right. Doesn't really help me. What was the... oh yeah, right. Biomatter.
And it's kind of the thing that... it's a nice drink on a hot summer's day if you get it really
Aquariums
chilled.
provide an ideal opportunity to study alien fauna up close. Select carefully which life forms you bring on board. They may also be studying you.
Oh,
Unlikely. I'm just gonna bring
watching
some
you.
fish.
well, that and Stella Artois. Both chavs and poor people. And Solo Spirit says, I moved over here before chav became a word. Maybe I can ask here what a chav is. A hoodlum. Yeah. A hoodlum, a troublemaker, but very much the lower class rather than... because, I mean, you get like upper class hoodlums and troublemakers, but you'd never refer to them as being a chav. Scum, poor people. Not necessarily scum though, because like your kind of Essex girl, Essex boy stereotype. So I suppose not always even a hoodlum or a troublemaker. Always sort of working class or lower.
Go forth, build me some biomatter.
Everyone from Doncaster, says Ralph. I am sure there are nice people in Doncaster. And Solo Spirit says, okay, sounds like a more southeast phrase though. Something out of London? I think it's
Warning.
got something to
Emergency power
do
only.
with an insult relating to gypsies. I think that was the etymology of it, but yeah, it became like it became a
There's a
Why have
bug.
you got a thing floating? Are you flooded, Mia? Oh yeah,
No,
your
not-
oxygen's dropping. Look.
It's only dropping because we're out of biomatter in the reactor.
Eh.
Excuse me. Come on. That should be enough.
Like who, Sal? Like who? They're all not very nice people. In Doncaster.
Power restored. All primary systems online.
Nice.
I tend not to make sweeping statements about people from an area because there's good and bad in every place. But I must admit that I've had a bad experience with men from Sheffield. Women from Sheffield has been like the same as anywhere else. Some people have liked, some people have not. Some people have got on with really well, other people maybe not so good. But I don't know what it is about. Like I've met a number of guys from Sheffield just through work and stuff like that, and for some bizarre reason, I usually end up just not getting on with them, and I don't know why. Potato says, biomatter with 2 fish. You're going to be collecting its poop.
No, I will not be going to collecting its poop. Ah, look at that. We're already almost there again to having power in the submarine.
Oh, very good. Have you got oxygen back?
What? Yep, of course.
Oh, good.
I tossed in a few ice stalks into the bioreactor and everything's good again.
Oh, good. Oh, Ralph says, Sheffield, the north is a place of horror on Coronation Street.
Right, titanium.
And did you say the polar opposite of me, as in the polar a chav is the polar opposite of you? And yet you have such bigoted views? But surely not.
Right. The machine immediately just produced some salt and that's it.
Oh, how wonderful. It said, Mia, I think you need some salt. Even the machine's giving you salt.
Even the machine is giving me salt. I need some titanium. Where did I store all my titanium? I used to have some.
And Ralph says, Sal, I can post a link to a vid about the North and the South. I can post you a link to a video about Father Christmas. Doesn't mean it's true.
Oh goodness, no. The fabricator's out of power now too.
All systems online.
Titanium. If I was some titanium,
Oh, and
where
that's
would I
a
find
that's
myself?
a titanium. All over around by where the Stalky Forest was, the kelp forest area. There was lots of titanium around there, like your starting area.
I'm aware, but that's so far away.
Oh. And
I
Solo
just-
Spirit says, good and bad folks are all over the place. Luck is meeting only the ones you get on with. But learning is meeting and working with those you don't too. I really like that. And I think also there is a tendency to dislike things that are strange and to dislike even more things that are similar but not quite the same. So you might like something that is very different like Greece, because it's so very different, but not like something that's kind of similar but different like Doncaster.
What? No, I was going to mention the east of Germany.
Yeah, so for me it's the east of Germany. Have I ever
30
been to
seconds.
East Germany? I can't remember. I don't think I've been to anywhere in East Germany.
Why would you want to go there?
Because...
Horrible place, wouldn't recommend it.
Because I bet there are beautiful places in East Germany.
Unlikely.
I spent a bit of time in Warsaw, in Poland, which is obviously further east than East Germany.
Well, it could have been East Germany.
Ralph says, Mia has enough by himself, no need for salt machinery. Tater said, Sel, what's something that's had you raging with salt? Oh, the thing I find hardest to tolerate is...
Jumping in
Intolerance.
Half-Life.
Oh no, it was reversing the truck in Euro Truck Simulator.
Oh yeah, that's even worse.
Oh, that was hilarious. Did I archive that video? I'm sure I must have done. It'll be on Twitch. It was before we did restreaming, so
Welcome
it's
aboard,
not on
Captain.
YouTube.
Wasn't that part of the last New Year's Eve stream, or did that come later?
No, it was much earlier than that.
Really?
Yeah, it was the very first time that I played Euro Truck Simulator.
A fair point. Ew, I just picked up one of the gross ones. And now I can't
You've
tell
got
which
lots of
one.
originals.
Well, yeah, I'm aware I've got lots of originals. I need biomatter.
I thought that was what was gross then.
It was green.
Oh.
Then again, the bioreactor probably doesn't care. Excuse me, I need to create a wiring kit because
Captain.
the fabricator on the base is
Online.
currently out of power.
Ah. Did Mia just bring up the subject of naked East Germans?
No, I did not. You people did.
And Solo Spirit says, sometimes it's the little differences that stand out more than you would expect. Yeah, I found when I used to travel with work an awful
All
lot.
systems online.
And I enjoyed working in places that were very different, much more than working with places that were quite similar. So, and I think that's why the British don't get on with France quite so much. Yeah, okay.
Nobody
so
gets on with France.
What? Nobody does.
I don't know anybody who
But
does.
You don't get on with
Not
anyone.
even the French get along with themselves.
You're, I mean, because Mia isn't bigoted, he just doesn't like anyone.
A fair point, but still.
So he treats everybody with equal disdain, don't you? Did you just get inside the tank?
Yes, I did.
You
Come
can
on,
get in the
buddies,
tank.
why are you not making more biomatter in here? I've given you, like, all the time you...
But when...
What? What?
Oh, okay. I thought that was a chamber that made biomatter out of things that you put in it. I thought you were just about to convert yourself to biomatter.
No, it's just an alien containment tank, and I'm hoping that these guys just reproduce so I can put them into my bioreactor.
Oh, I see.
I guess I'll have to go collect a few more.
Ralph says his ancestors are from France. Yeah, mine too. One branch of my family came from near Paris.
My condolences.
Another branch of the family came from Poland, but then the further back you go, the more branches you've got, so you end up coming from all over the place. Awful lot from Ireland. One branch of the family came from the Orkney Islands.
Thirty seconds.
15, 12, 9.
You're acting as if I wasn't going to survive.
Ralph says, France and Wales. Oh yeah, one branch of my family came from Wales. But it might have just been that they went to Wales. I haven't traced that bit of the family tree back very far. And Solar Spirit says, hey, I'm hoping to head over to France soon. My sister runs a hotel in the south and I want to visit. My sister and brother-in-law have got a caravan in the south. Like, you know, one of those big sort of fancy trailers in the south of France, and they really like it. I just prefer something... I mean, like with any place, I have met some... I've met some really, really good French people. The one guy in particular who I worked with, who was such a laugh to be around. Good worker and all of the rest of it, but you just really liked his company because he was just a really fun guy. And yeah, one of the women that I work with, actually, I've just forgotten about that. One of my friends is French. She's from Brittany. I tend to forget that the people that I kind of hang out with, where they're from or what their religion is, or like what their race is and that sort of thing, because they're just my mates. And Ralph says, I'm getting a DNA test for Christmas to see if I'm Russian or something. Well, I'm hoping it's Russian. Tammy says, my family is Irish, German and Cherokee. Oh, fabulous. Oh, and Charlie97, who we didn't say hello to. Sorry, Charlie. Hello and goodbye. Says, have a great time.
Hello and goodbye. Farewell. May you rest in peace.
No, you say that when somebody's died, mate.
Or when somebody's going to bed and trying to sleep.
No, you say, may you...
I tell myself that every night.
You say, have a peaceful sleep.
No, may you rest in peace, Esmir.
And Solar
Still
Spirit
nothing.
says, his sister speaks almost no French, but is best friends with one of her neighbours who speaks no English. I hear shopping trips are fun.
Seek fluid intake.
I would like to, but my water filtration system is not doing its job properly.
And Ralph says, well, there used to be a place in south of France
systems
called
online.
Candy in the 1400s, which is where my surname comes from. Does Mia sleep in a German-made coffin in Sal's room? No, Mia has his own closet. And I'm not sure if he sleeps or he just plugs himself into the wall to recharge. Bladder fish, Mia, says Giles.
What?
Ooh, blood oil. Blood fine.
New blueprint acquired.
Ooh, that stuff is filling.
Yeah. And
What's the
Giles
new
says, closet,
blueprint?
you say? Is that the one with the boiler? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really a
that's
closet.
easy then.
It was Mia who christened it the closet. I had always called it the spare room up until that point.
Used as a
but Mia
storage
calls-
unit for your garbage. That's pretty much a closet.
Yeah, that's true. Mia called it a closet because it was full of junk.
It looks like a closet!
And it's not the biggest of spare rooms, and it does have the heating boiler in it. Potato says, I'm currently in love with this cereal that has dehydrated fruit in it. Spotted Cow says, my family is from Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Germany and Russia.
What was the thing? Ah.
Ralph says, more Europe in Spotted Cow than actual Europe then. Well, not Russia. Yeah, Russia's in Asia.
30 seconds.
Does it have a bed you pull down from the wall? No, it has a proper bed in it. The proper bed that's like a permanent proper bed. It's not.
If I had a bed that can be pulled down from the wall, I wouldn't be having space for the cupboard that holds my clothing.
Oh, one of those. There's a thing there.
I can see that.
You need water.
I am aware of
that.
that.
Running out of water, Mia.
Because it's really hard to find that stuff. Ow!
You banged your head, Mia.
I'm gonna blame you on that.
Don't you just need coral tubes for it?
I mean, theoretically speaking, yes, but they're so rare around here.
Well, why don't you just go and get an inventory full of coral tube?
Because I'm now, dedicated to making myself a nuclear reactor so I can get the water filtration system running properly.
Giles says, vintage clothes, Mia.
Well, what's with vintage clothes?
I missed the context.
Me
of
too.
that. Ralph says, is Mia like a Tesla? You're only friends with him because it's convenient. Mia actually is a very easy person to be friends with. He's just got this persona where he
hates
it's like a defense mechanism where he comes across as being all salty and
Welcome
grouchy.
aboard,
And
Captain.
I'd rather dub it an offense system, but alright.
Giles says, bladderfish give you water. Did
I'm
you?
aware, but I don't need any. Goodbye.
You need water, Mia?
I don't need that. I've got a very lovely water filtration system that's probably done some water for me right now.
Better be 3 lumps of salt. Ralph says, don't drink that water. It's probably...
Look at this lovely water that's filling up for me
yeah.
right now.
Oh, I wonder if it's chilled.
It looks large and is filled and gives me 50 H2O.
Ooh.
You can't compete with that, can you?
Indeed.
It's still unpowered.
Oh. Giles says, Mia said if he had a bed that you pulled down from the wall, he wouldn't have room for the closet with his clothes in. And I said, vintage clothes. Yes, that makes sense. Oh, Ralph, you couldn't be more wrong, but you wouldn't know why unless you met him. Yeah, public personality versus private personality. Those people will often present a different persona as a form
Look
of...
at this,
Oh,
a
what was that
second
flashing
one!
light? Yeah. It can be a form of defense mechanism to have a public persona. Speaking of which, we've not seen Dennis today.
Stabilizing.
Dennis is all
Lovely.
comes across as being all grouchy and angry, and he's like a really nice guy. But he just puts on. He's got this sort of outward protective persona, but yeah. Ralph says, well, tell him to come to Bristol then.
All systems online.
There, I'm at full health now. Are you happy?
And then says, Hanukkah. Miss the context for Hanukkah. Oh, are you saying why is Mia Jewish? Actually, one of my ancestors is Jewish. Do you mean Dennis? No, because Dennis has only got one in it. Is Dennis still banned? Was Dennis banned?
Why
He
would
was
he
probably
be
putting
banned?
time out for something at some point.
I didn't put him in timeout or ban him in the recent past.
Oh, he was travelling in Poland, wasn't he?
Was he? I don't know.
wonder whether he's
Dead.
still Mere.
Sorry.
I was going to say, still there with no Wi-Fi, or on his way back and still jet-lagged, or any number of these things.
What did I need for an advanced firing kit?
No, Dennis lives in Israel. It's a Jewish country, no? Oh, Hanukkah. Oh, right, yes. Now I see the context of Hanukkah. Yeah. So it's like coming up for Hanukkah for Dennis. Yeah. Poland isn't a deadly place. No, but it'd be really cold. Potato says, no, I didn't ban Dennis. So I travelled a bit in Poland, but it was only in and around Warsaw. And I really like it. And typically I've got quite a lot of Polish friends. Again, there's some people I don't like him for Polish, but by and large I get on with most people.
One gold, one copper wire.
And Potato says, I'm also on the PS4 and I don't have the mod powers. No, Ralph, you're wrong. Poland is not all new. It's, there's loads of interesting old places around the place. And same with Germany, there's a lot of old places in Germany as well. Charles said, got mugged in Poland by a German, stole my crappy camcorder.
My condolences. Right, I need 1 silver and 2 copper, and I've already forgotten what I need.
And Ralph's on the Xbox playing For Honor. Ralph said, well, not as many as Britain.
All systems online.
That's a difficult comparative measure to come up with, really. Because, I mean, do you just count the number of buildings, or do you count the ratio of buildings? Because 2 countries are not the same size. I'm not entirely sure that... I mean, I'm assuming this is your opinion rather than any stats that you've got. But yeah, Ralph, I think Ralph gets the Salt Crown today rather than me. Spotted Cow says, planning a 2-week trip to Poland next year. It's going to be 2 weeks on horseback in the car. Oh, I am so jealous. Oh well, I say jealous, but maybe not for this time of year. It's, I mean, I know, like, horse riding is a little bit warmer than, say, walking, because the horse does at least keep you a little bit warm, but that's going to be a bit chilly.
It depends. If you let the horse ride on you, if you have to carry that horse through the countryside, you'll get warm quickly, or you die trying.
It would be a very small horse.
Well, it is a cow!
Oh, it's in the... Oh, right, sorry, I read it too quickly. So you're planning a 2-week trip to Poland next year. Yeah. I read that you are planning a trip to Poland in 2 weeks. And you were going to be spending 2 weeks on horse. So I was thinking you were going sort of like the in-between period of sort of just after Christmas or something. But yeah, summertime. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, I am. Now I'm properly jealous.
Now I need a table coral.
They're the ones that like them. What's the table coral for me? I just hiccuped.
Computer chip. Which is for an advanced wiring kit. Which is for a nuclear reactor.
Why do you only get one? Why didn't you get a handful while you were there? Like, stock up your inventory.
A, because they're really large, and B, I only need one to reproduce it in the aiming containment unit.
Oh, okay.
Where did I park my ship? Oh, there.
One of my favourite places in the whole world is Costa Rica. Just as a random aside, I was just thinking about places where I've really enjoyed time. It's like Poland, I thought was beautiful. And I haven't even been to the really beautiful bits. But I think some of my favourite places, I loved Shanghai. I worked out of Shanghai for a while. And there was something really strange about Shanghai because it reminded me of Manchester. And this was before I was living in Manchester.
That's something I've been saying for quite a while now. Once you've seen one large city, you've kind of seen most of them.
Yeah, I tell you what I have found is that capital cities around the world seem to have more in common with each other than they do the country that they're based in. And I'm sort of generalising on capital cities there because I'm not sure if that's true of Washington, because New York is more like London than it is like America.
So I found all the copper I had stored.
Charles is saying bean mug there too, Sal. In Costa Rica. Shanghai is nice, got scammed there. Oh dear. So, Charles has been around the world, get mugged and scammed in places. I got kidnapped in Venezuela. I was caught up here, had attempted hijacking in Colombia. Interesting time with customs in... Which city was it? It's one of the cities in China, but I can't remember which one. I'd given my translator the slip accidentally. And had to get myself through customs with a load of product samples of cable, which I then had to try and explain to customs as to what it was and why it wasn't A, dangerous, and B, taxable.
What? Why were you just carrying around some cables?
I was on business.
And your business was selling cables?
No, it was telecoms infrastructure. And I was explaining to, like, sort of regional governments how you use electricity cables or your electricity wayleave and with optical fibre cable bedded in the centre of it to transmit, and how you can combine your telecoms and electrical networks. So it was interesting. Solo Spirit says, best place I've visited was at Ottawa in Canada. Loved it. Haven't been to Canada, got loads of
Exercise
relatives
caution
over there.
when handling
Ooh.
radioactive materials. Exposure
Good advice.
risks corrupting your PDA's recording of the circumstances of your death.
Right.
Okay. Spotted Cow says, I've been on long rides in Norway, so time to see more places on horseback, and I don't like big cities. I tend to like the second city in a country more. So I've lived up and down and east and west in the UK, and ended up in Manchester because I just really liked it here. I like the sort of the atmosphere and that sort of second city thing, because I do like cities. And there was something very similar about, because I've travelled mostly up and down the coastline of China, and a little bit into the west, in the north, sort of northwest of Beijing, and the place I liked the most was Shanghai. And I don't know, there was something sort of like, it wasn't the capital city, it wasn't all sort of capital city like. It was just sort of freer and more, had a better, just had that buzz about it that I like. But in Venezuela I was in Caracas, and I really enjoyed living in Caracas, and that was the capital. But I think maybe I was actually in Costa Rica, the place I really liked was San Jose, which was the capital. But maybe there it's just that the second cities are so small that they just don't have enough of a buzz about them. Not sure, but I love San Jose in Costa Rica. I'd love to go back and live there. Let me get Miss Chat while I've been reminiscing. I've travelled in quite a lot of places around Europe, and the more similar it is to the UK, the less excited I am about it.
Emergency. Starvation imminent. Seek calorie intake immediately.
Solo Spirit says Toronto was a more generic city than Ottawa. Giles says been sick both ends in Venezuela. And Giles says China's nice, the weird food doesn't like me. Solo Spirit said never did get used to riding horses, could never figure out how to work the ignition switch. Spotted Cow says come to Norway, the shops are mugging all the time, the price is as high as a hippie in the 60s. Giles says Norway's nice. Potato says I say jump. Mia says no, I say jump. Sal I say jump. Sal says if this hurts my back I'll make you tablet pen disappear. I'll make your tablet pen disappear up your ass. Giles says Havana is amazing in Cuba. Not been to Cuba, would love to go to Cuba. Ralph says if I could visit anywhere it would be Cuba or something. That or Vietnam.
Captain, all systems online.
Giles says there are not enough places on my body to count how many times I've been to France. Yeah, I've been to France quite often, and the kind of analogy, it's not that I don't like France, but it's a bit like going to my sister's house. It's kind of, it's very It's not really very different, so it's not... Like, go to my sister's house and, you know, it's alright, it's nice and everything, but it's not different and exciting and an adventure or anything. And yet it's so familiar, and yet it's not actually home either. So, you know, I go there because, well, you know, I like to visit my sister, obviously. I'd much rather visit my sister like when we're both on holiday somewhere else. Potato says, I really want to move to Japan. Oh, hang on, missed a whole load of chat. Right, yeah. So Giles was saying, not enough places on my body to count how many times I've been to France. Giles says, Kingston in Jamaica is nice. Spotted Cow says, the problems with horses is not the ignition switch, the brakes have been dismantled upon delivery. I worked in stables when I was younger. Which is funny because I'm actually... I really like horses and I like riding horses. And I'm fine with them up close. Like, even a horse that's in a bit of a mood, I'm fine when I'm in the stable with them. But I'm shit scared of them when I'm trying... Like, when they're out in the field and I had to go and, like, catch them in. You go out there with a bucket of something for them to eat in their bridle and you're trying to catch them in and they don't want to come in, and yeah, oh, that's when they seem so big. Ralph says, I was in Portugal in the same week as when that girl got abducted. Giles says, Kazakhstan is the hardest place to visit I've been to, with all the requirements and visas to enter the country, even for the day. Yeah, can't remember problem, because, well, all my visa stuff all got sorted out for me because most of my travelling was done on business, so yeah. Solo Spirit says, lol at the Spotted Cow. Yeah, that too. Give me a motorbike anytime, way more predictable. I'm totally fine with horses as critters. They are cool. As vehicles, no thanks. Giles says I'm going to pronounce this all wrong, aren't I? The Lipizzaner horses are nice to look at. They're the highly trained horses that... Dance is the wrong word. But you know what I mean, don't you? Am I right in thinking it's those horses, the white ones? Spotted Cow says, the bigger the horse, the more fun it is. And moody horses are fun too. Yeah, my boss has a few horses, and I think it's her daughter rode for the UK in the Olympics. Or competed. I can't remember which one of the things, but yeah, one of the horses that she's got is an Olympic champion horse, and she's offered me a ride on it, and I was really like to. Potato says, goodness, Sal, you've done so much and been to so many places, they should have an alcoholic drink named after you. The Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster.
Is that a drink you would approve of? I take your sound.
I'm just trying to make a... No, I'm trying to make a pun out of it. The Sal Galactic Gargle Blaster. Spotted Cow says, like the Shire horse or the Norwegian. I'm gonna guess that O is pronounced very like a doula horse. Or is it... Mia, you're better at pronouncing...
What?
How would you go about pronouncing that? That O? Would you go for an ooh? Or an ooh? Or an ah?
I think it's more of a yaw.
Or... Dola horse?
Yola horse. Don't take my word for it. I have no qualifications that take me.
This sounds like almost a standard conversation that Mia might have if nobody was watching. Like, Mia, how do you think you say that word?
What was very good?
Yeah.
Copper wire and a
Solar
titanium.
Spirit says, the bigger the motorbike, the more fun it is. Ride a frisky motorbike, but never a moozy one. Giles Price says, one trip to the States on a layover in Texas, a dispatcher gave us tickets to a pro bull riding event. God, it's dangerous. Tammy says, Giles, most rodeo events are dangerous. I don't think I could watch it. I mean, I've seen it on TV, not like in, I don't know, some old episode of Magnum or something like that where it was like a staged bull riding event. Never seen. Yeah, I think I'd have to watch with my eyes closed. Oh, Potatoes just tried the bomb command and it's not worked. The command's not working on Twitch at the moment.
I am not entirely sure.
I shall try it for you. Ah. The rodeo clown was stretchered off. Oh gosh. Someone triggered the bomb to explode after the smoke cleared. It revealed the following message. 9:37.
Online.
And the spotted cow has rolled a 1 and thus will be a spotted toad for the next 3 turns.
Are people trying to rush me?
No.
Ah, lovely. Ah, nice.
Solo Spirit says, I have a feeling, Spotted Cow, I may have to get used to riding, especially if I do get to visit my sister. She's threatened me with a horseback trip. So, have you ever tried riding while you were in the UK, Solo Spirit? Because I've never tried riding in America, but I know that it's very different. Thanks for bombing me, Sal. You're welcome.
How is it different?
It's the saddle. The horseback riding in the States is aimed at long distances. The saddles you tend to sit in with your legs very long. In the UK, the saddles are aimed at jumping.
Oh.
Because you can't. In the UK, you can't travel very far before there's an obstacle.
Right.
So
Yeah, makes sense.
So the saddles for horses are designed to be able to get over things. So you ride with your knees quite high compared to the States.
Well, here we go. We're switching to nuclear power.
So I believe it's a lot easier to.
I wish I could see the nuclear
Easier
rods.
and more relaxed to ride in the States than it is in the UK. So, because I know some of the some of the horse riding trekking centres in the UK, especially the ones that use the big horses, like the Shire horses, they use the American saddles. But I've never tried an American saddle, but yeah, I believe it is sort of seen it on TV, like the cowboys, the saddles that the cowboys use, they look very different. Spotted Cow says you just relax on the horse and follow the horse's movement. Tammy says, I think the saddles are heavier. Solo Spirit says, my sister used to have a horse. I rode it a little, and some of her friends had horses over here, and yeah, the ride is totally different. It's like, what do you call that? I'm trying to remember, like the genre of motorbike, where you're kind of, it's almost like you're sat in an armchair, your legs are forwards, your arms are up. The kind of easy rider type of thing, compared to the sort of Japanese racing bike where your knees are up under your chin. Giles says, camels hurt feels like a TSA cavity search. Not that I've had one. I've never been on a camel. I'd do it though, just to try. Yeah, easy ride, a chopper bike, a chopper cell. Mm-hmm. And I should say I've only ever ridden I've been pillion on motorbikes a lot, but I've only ever actually tried to ride, like be the driver of 2 motorbikes, and I wasn't particularly successful either time, but that was like both of them were in the days where me and my mate whose bike it was that she was trying to teach me how to ride her bike, because she was trying to get me into motorbike riding. I was always happy to go on a pilly, but her bike, every time it stalled, and this was both of them because there was 2 of them. Both of them, if the bike stalled, it involved like running up and down trying to jump start it again. So on both occasions, like trying to, that thing, like trying to get used to the clutch and the accelerator, and I'd only like managed sort of a few minutes before I'd end up stalling it, and then we'd spend sort of 5 to 10 minutes trying to jump start it, and yeah. So Spotted Cow says in the EU you ride with the knees, and in the US you use the heels to control. Yeah. Potato says, you know what would be a very embarrassing thing to happen while streaming? Would be a loud and long bum hiccup. Did you like that, mate?
Very
That
well
was for you.
Welcome aboard.
Tammy says, ew, Potato.
All systems online.
That was Potato's suggestion. I might have to reconsider his position in life.
Giles says, Mia reminds me, since he's German, of the time we got our rental car stolen from a beer house in his neck part of Germany. His neck of Germany.
He's making it sound as if it's my fault.
Is that the... because Mia's got sort of 2 bits of Germany that he would call his bit, wouldn't he? Like Frankfurt, where you're from.
Yes.
And the sort of Swabian region where you were last studying.
Yes. I think I took one too many fish.
Solo Spirit was laughing, says my first bike was like that, kickstart, real pain. They're a lot easier with electric starts now. Yeah, I mean, she did. I'm sure the second motorbike that she had, that she was trying to teach me on, I'm sure that had electronic ignition. It was just that it didn't work because there wasn't a kickstart on the second one. There was on the first one. The second one, I'm sure you couldn't use a kickstart to get it going again. You had to run it and bump start it. But it was like that with the first one as well. But I do remember there being a kickstart on the first one, but it wasn't very good. But I mean, this was like, we were both students, and I had a Ford Fiesta that I'd paid, I don't know, maybe
200 quid.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of it was probably the equivalent of about a week's rent. And it had about 3 months life left in it before it was gonna fail its MOT and be scrap value. So, you know, I'd paid what it was worth because it was a car that was going to last about 3 months before I needed to buy another one. And her motorbikes were the same. And we were both, because we were in a house share together, and we were both capable of fixing our own vehicles and sort of patching them up a bit and getting them going a bit longer. And both of us were always breaking down somewhere, and the other one would come out with whatever it was. And Solo Spirit say, oh my, that would have been a real exercise, a real workout even. And Potato says, oh Mia, don't be like that. What are you, the vegan police? If you don't get it, Mia, I'll link it later.
I don't think I want to be linked to the vegan police. They'd have a few issues with me.
And Spotted Cow said my Ford Fiesta was crushed by wet snow. Wow.
Nicely done.
Solo Spirit
Kudos to the
says
snow.
the Ford Fiesta's your favourite car, Mia.
Shoo, we don't talk about that.
So,
Also, my
see what I mean by
favourite car
private
is the
versus
Trabant.
public personalities.
What?
And Solo Spirit says those vehicles can be the most fun though. They have a personality that's something newer and more reliable is just that, functional transport. Yeah, I had quite a lot of vehicles with quite a lot of personality. And I think the last time
Welcome aboard, Captain.
I owned a vehicle that had a lot of personality. In fact, it was my last car but one. I'm trying to remember what on earth make it was. It was a weird thing. I think it was a Honda City. It might have been. It was an odd-looking thing, and yeah, a very strange little vehicle. But I liked it because it was so small that it could fit in, because the car park where I parked this, because I used to drive into work at this point, from where I lived, it was just the most convenient way. And the car park that I parked in didn't have marked out car parking spaces. So when all the cars would go there, there'd always be some little corner that was too small for an ordinary car to park in that I'd be able to fit in. No, it was much smaller than a Honda Civic. I've had a Honda Civic though. I used to buy and sell cars, so I've had a lot of different cars, but like I'd have a car for a week or two and then sell it on, and that's how come I ended up, when I was a student, ended up with a lot of crap cars as well, because I had the contacts. And yeah, and I kind of liked it, but it had a habit of its engine would cut out every so now and then. It was some sort of overheating problem, but it wasn't It wasn't boiling over. The engine wasn't getting too hot. There was something somewhere. I never got to the bottom of what was wrong with it. And it was an absolute mare because it'd always choose the traffic lights in the peak hour to cut out, and then there was nothing you could do. Just had to wait by the side of the road for 10 minutes. And you know, if you're in a 3-lane carriageway waiting to turn right, and your car decides it wants a 10-minute sleep, it can be really inconvenient and quite embarrassing. And so eventually I just got fed up of cars with personality and decided that and I changed my job. The job that I had for a while, I absolutely had to have a reliable car because it was all to do with civil contingencies and like responding to emergency events and things like that. It was the kind of thing where I couldn't just... I needed a car I could be absolutely certain was going to start when I tried to start it and was going to get me wherever it was that I needed to get to. And so because I was looking for something that didn't have personality, by definition, I went for the utmost inconvenience, which was I bought a car from the garage that was between my house and work, because then I knew that when it came to things like servicing and testing and stuff like that, that I would I'd be able to do it to and from work and wouldn't have to go out of my way. And the garage that was between my house and my work was a Renault dealership. So I ended up with a Renault Clio because that was the small thing that they had in stock at the time. I had a few Renaults, but they were mostly company cars. I can't remember if I had a Renault 5 when I was buying and selling cars. It was one of those that had the it was a really, really old one. It had the gear change on... Was that the one that had it on the dashboard, or was it the one that had it on the steering column? I've had a few where that had like weird gear sticks. And I've missed a load of chat while again I've been reminiscing. Giles says, has anyone ever been driving along the Autobahn and a Porsche comes flying past you at 100 kilometres and then explodes? Happened on a short trip yesterday. Wow. Tammy says, I'll stick with my Dodge Dakota. Potato says, 248. Oh yeah, 2154, mate. Tammy says, a
right.
Honda Civic. Oh yeah, and then we get to classic Honda City. Oh, let's have a look. Can I click this, Mia, without screwing anything up? I'll tell you if that's the... Kinda, but I think that is probably newer than the one I had. The one that I had a... It was taller and shorter. Or maybe it was just that yellow makes it look a bit squatter. Or maybe they've lowered it or something. Yeah, they look kind of a bit sportier than the one that I had. Oh, 1989. Or maybe mine was newer then. Solo Spirit says it's always at the least convenient time that a car wants to quit. Indeed. Giles says, I have a 71 AMC Javelin requiring love in the garage to complete it. Giles says, loaned my mate's Austin Princess for a week once while I have my car fixed. He traded it in years later for the Maxi. Oh, they were... Now there's two cars that... If only Austin knew how to build a reliable car at the time. They are. I had an Austin Princess for a while. I remember it had rust spots on the boot. and I was driving around with it painted with yellow circles for a while because I couldn't get a colour match for the paint. And I remember it being a much maligned car. It was not as bad as people made it out to be. I had a Maxi, and it was from that era where they used to have like Monday cars and Friday cars, which I think was it must have been 1970s, like when the cars that were built on a Monday were really bad because the workers had come in and they weren't really focused on what they were doing, and then on the Friday, the cars that were made on the Friday were really bad because people would be throwing them together because they were trying to get out of work. So you'd always hope for a car that'd been made in the middle of the week. Austin had a really bad reputation for the cars, and justified for the cars that they made in the 70s. Unspotted car says, "Oh, farmer, not a French car." I've had a few French cars. I've had all kinds of different cars.
Captain.
Giles says,
Online.
now he's become weird with a bright orange 2CV. Potato says, well, soon, Sal, cars will have AI and you wouldn't want the hassle. You wouldn't want to hassle a Hoff 9000. I get your joke. I'm actually really up for auto-driving cars. And Giles says his first car was a Metro. Would that be... because Metros were around for an awful long time, weren't they? And because didn't they start out as the Mini Metro? It was the Austin Mini Metro. Then it was the Austin Metro. Then it was a British Leyland Metro. Then... what did British Leyland become after that? Because it went from Austin to British Leyland, didn't it? Then British Leyland became what? Or did it close as British Leyland? Yeah, Solo Spirit says, Mr. David Kitt. Indeed. Solo Spirit says, once vehicles get more personality than horses, then we're in real trouble. Yep. Giles Price says, drove my mate's Morris Marina last weekend. A trade up from his awful Allegro. I'm guessing your mate is really into his 70s British vehicles. The very first car I ever, well, it was a van actually, that I ever drove was a Morris Marina van that had been converted from petrol to diesel by having a canal boat engine dropped in it. You know, and a sort of suitably modified so that it would all fit and stuff. It was a van that belonged to a garage that I was doing work experience at, and they wanted to teach me to drive so that I could shunt the cars around in the scrapyard that they had at the back. Oh, Rover Group, of course. British Leyland went into Rover. Yeah, it was the Rover Metro, wasn't it? Oh, and then, yeah, it was reinvented as the MG Metro. Yeah, I think it was the Rover Metro for a while, and then the MG Metro. Oh, Amir, we've come to 10 o'clock.
I am aware. Just hold on for a few seconds.
Yeah. Poor Potato, he's sat there in his chair with his eyes forced open to watch to the end of the stream. And then he's gonna die in his bed.
Well, that's a bit anticlimactic, but alright. Fine, hold on. Let him fall asleep to something nice. You could already start doing the outro.
Oh, it was the Citroen that had the stick shift on the steering column. Yeah! So it must have been the Renault 5 that had the gear stick on the dashboard. Yeah. Oh, what was that name of the Citroen I had? It was the weird thing with because where the gear stick was supposed to be was actually a raise. It was a thing to raise and lower the suspension. Can't remember the name of it. It wasn't one of the 2CVs or the Citroen Dianes or any of those weird sort of bug type, like Volkswagen looking, Beetle looking ones. It was an ordinary saloon looking Citroen. Had onboard brakes. A nice horse to end on, says Spotted Cow, and sends us...
Click the first blue text.
That one.
Yes.
Sends us a link that leads to things in German, which I think is... Aww.
Behold,
Sends us
horses.
some lovely pictures of some horses.
Lovely. Can you do the outro now? Because
Yeah.
we want to,
And Solo Spirit says, yeah, big car, really comfy, but really weird to drive. Spotted Cow says, nice horses, many nice horses to end on. So yes, we shall leave it here. So if you've enjoyed watching, join us next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, to watch Mia playing more Subnautica while I ramble about some random fact or other.
Mind you, this will be in the middle of the Christmas season, and nothing about this stream will be festive.
And unless I'm drunk.
No.
Can't guarantee that I won't be. Or do join us tomorrow, Thursday, 8 p.m. GMT, Greater Manchester time.
Yeah, well done, you've ruined it.
Greenwich Mean Time. For me tomorrow, where I shall be playing while Mia chats about random things, and hopefully I shall be playing Skyrim. Solo Spirit says, thanks for the stream and chat, it's been fun. And Spotted Cow says, bye and have a great moo, and a good moo to you too. And later, everybody, from Tammy.
Yes.
Vodka
Click the button
from
already.
Spotted Cow says, don't worry, Sal will probably get drunk sometime soon anyway. Right, goodbye everybody. See you tomorrow.
Took you long enough.
What? Yeah. Bye for now.